Early in the 22-23 season, the media took a shot at Erling Haaland for not interfering in the matches. The critics felt that he didn't turn up in the big games, that he didn't get involved enough to improve Man City's tactics, and they accused him of not even touching the ball. And to be honest, they're right. This is a graph of all the forwards in the Premier League who played 2,500 plus minutes in the 22-23 season and their total number of touches. The further to the right on the graph, the more minutes played. The further upwards, the more touches. Most of the players stay between 1,100 to 1,500 touches. Harry Kane, with his 28 goals for the season, had 1,417 touches. And you have two players over 2,000 touches in Alex Iwobi and Bukayo Saka. And then there is Erling Haaland. A total of 798 touches in 2,686 minutes played, by far the least involved forward in the Premier League. And when you consider he scored 36 goals, that makes it a goal every 22 touches. What makes this statistic even crazier is that Haaland took 117 shots, which means 14% of all touches by Haaland in the season were a shot. But Haaland is totally cool about this.
My dream is to touch the ball 5 times and score 5 goals. That's my biggest dream.
But this is not the only craziest comparison we get when we illustrate the Erling Haaland phenomenon through a chart. We made a video about Erling Haaland's strict rules at Manchester City a few months ago, and during that video we found some real sensational statistics about Haaland's speed. In the 2020 season, Haaland registered an incredible 6.64 seconds in 60 meters during a match against PSG. His blistering speed made headlines after the match, and he was named one of the fastest footballers in the world. But how fast is he really? Let's do an experiment. Tokyo 2020 Olympics, 100-meter sprint finals. In the 2020 qualifying heats, 78 male athletes from 59 different countries ran an average time of 10.6 seconds in the 100-meter sprint. If we convert the 10.6 per 100 meters into speed, we get 33.8 kilometers an hour. And if we convert Haaland's 60 meters record to kilometers an hour, we get 36.3 kilometers an hour. Let that sink in. This means that Haaland would beat the average guy competing in the qualifying heats of the Tokyo Olympics 100-meter sprint. Hold on. He wouldn't actually be able to compete with the elite sprinters in terms of speed, right? Right? Well, this will shock you. Here is a list of the best times during the first 7 heats of the sprint finals. Generally, the best athlete had a time of 9.98 seconds or slower. The fastest heat was all the way down to 9.91 seconds, and the slowest heat was over 10.08 seconds. And then Haaland's heat time, 9.91 seconds. Haaland's 60-meter speed turned into a 100-meter sprint that would see him beat 6 out of 7 heats and even match the best heat. This will make Haaland qualify from every single heat to the semi-finals. Now, it's worth mentioning that the elite sprinters do not give everything during the first rounds. They don't go full throttle like in the semi-finals. Oh, wait. Haaland's 100-meter time would also let him go through the semi-final 1 heat and semi-final 2. But here comes the crazy part. In the final heat, sprinters like De Grasse, Jacobs, Curly are running for the World Championship. These guys are the fastest in the world. They have a maximum speed of up to 40 plus kilometers an hour during the peak of the 100-meter sprint, which makes their average speed up to 36.7 kilometers an hour. So how does Haaland's speed match up to this?
This time they're away, and what an opportunity for one of these men.
Among the fastest sprinters in the world, the speed Haaland had on his 60-meter run in the PSG game would make him tie the 4th place. 4th place in the Olympics. That's just insane. Something to note here is that Haaland would probably be beaten by the acceleration of these guys, and he would have to keep his top speed as an average to actually receive this result. The speed is still very surprising. But talking about surprises, this last statistic is without a doubt the one that stuck out to me the most about Haaland during this research. There is no doubt in my mind that the 2 greatest scorers in football history are Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo. We can always put Pelé and Romario in there, but they're long past their prime and both played most of their careers in the Brazilian league, not the big European league. Messi and Ronaldo are out of this planet in terms of total goals. Counting friendlies, Ronaldo has 837 and Messi has 802, with 139 fewer games played. The next on the list from the 21st century is Lewandowski with 599 and Suarez with 542. And Haaland's career total is only 208, but he's only 22. So to create a level playing field, we need to scale back and take a look at how many goals they've scored based on their first 100 games. Here's a list of the greatest goal scorers in football history, and how many goals they have in their first 100 games in the major leagues of Europe. Somewhat surprisingly, Cristiano Ronaldo comes last with only 16 goals in his first 100 games. Lionel Messi has 41, Harry Kane 45, Mbappe 48, the old Ronaldo 86, and at the top we find Romario with an insane total of 90 goals in his first 100 games. That's a goal 9 out of 10 games he played. Oh wait, there's one missing. Haaland right at the top with 103 goals. Haaland needed just 100 games in the big leagues to reach over 100 goals. That is more goals than he's played matches. This is an insane achievement. But there's more. This chart shows how many games from all leagues each player needed to reach their first 100 goals and the age when they reached it. Lionel Messi took 210 games at the age of 22 and 206 days, and Ronaldo 301 games at the age of 23 and 255 days. Mbappe is very high on this chart with 178 games and only 20 years and 356 days. There are some other good players here. Neymar with 184 games, but he did it when he was 20 years old for Santos in Brazil. But all alone out at the top, there we find Haaland. In just 123 games and an age of 20 years and 7 months. Compared to the two greatest goal scorers in modern football, Messi and Ronaldo, Haaland is flying. The only players to ever do it at a younger age are Brazilian legends Pelé and Brazilian Ronaldo. It took Pelé 86 games and Ronaldo 108 to reach 100 goals. Both men were also under 20 when they achieved that. What must be taken into account here is that Pelé made his debut extremely earlier, already as a 17-year-old in the Brazilian national team. The same with Ronaldo. Erling Haaland is only 22 years old and has just signed with Manchester City, one of the biggest chance-creating machines in football, and with his debut season. In the Premier League of 2022-23, Haaland had an incredible rate of 1.17 goals per 90 minutes, which is an insane achievement. He probably can't keep it up year after year. But still, it's an interesting question to ask. Could he beat the scoring of Messi and Ronaldo? Well, this last graph will blow your mind. This graph shows players in the 21st century and how many goals they scored in 90 minutes. We find names like Benzema, who averaged 0.47 goals per 90 minutes, Lukaku with 0.48, Salah scores a goal every second game with 0.50. Further up the list we find Aguero, Kane, Mbappe, Suarez, all in the 0.59 to 0.67 goal range. And in the top 4 we find Lewandowski with 0.73, CR7 with 0.77, and Messi with an insane 0.87 per match. But how well placed do you think Haaland is on this graph? Second, Erling Haaland is second in goals per 90 minutes with 0.80. He has 187 goals in 235 games, which means that he currently has a 0.10 goal higher ratio than Cristiano Ronaldo himself. But at this rate, Haaland would join the 500 goal club much sooner than Robert Lewandowski, Luis Suarez and Zlatan Ibrahimovic, and even Cristiano Ronaldo ever did. It's nothing to do with Lionel Messi, who has this ratio over 726 games. He's a different animal. Speaking of Messi, do you remember when he went to PSG and formed the greatest ever super team in football history with Neymar and Mbappe? Well, here's a video that shows how bad things ended up for these guys. Take a look.